It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank, Clint, Gus, and Brennan. This week, Optimum Game Day Live will be here in the First United Bank studio since the Red Raiders are on the road. It'll start at 7 a.m. We'll take you up to 1:30. At that time, it'll be the Texas Tech pregame show. Then you'll hear the game, their postgame show. When it's all said and done, it'll be the Double T 97.3 Coors Light post-game show. Now, it is those Kansas State Wildcats. You're knocking on the door of 20 years since you've won in Manhattan, Kansas. Head coach Joey McGuire gave his thoughts on that and the 8-game losing streak in total that you're on against Kansas State.
Well, you know, the first thing I said to Barron yesterday, when I saw him yesterday morning, was, hey, this ain't, so we're not going to concern ourselves with the history of what has been there or here. You know, this is an entirely different team. You know, the majority of this team, if you think about it, the majority of this team has never played K-State. We didn't play them last year, you know, so you've got to go back to 2 years ago, and there's a lot of guys that I'd have to really go back besides Barron, Coy, of like who actually has played. I don't think Jacob Rodriguez played in that game. I think he was still out. So there's not a lot of guys that have played K-State, you know, in a Red Raider uniform.
You know, it's
and
funny.
Doesn't that echo what I said the other day?
Yeah.
Like, these guys don't know about that stuff.
This is more of from the fan side, and I get it. I totally
absolutely,
understand.
I do too. Absolutely.
And, you know, I hadn't even thought of it from, like, some of the guys that have been on the team for a while. I was thinking of the guys that we talked about, like your David Baileys and Romello Heights and Howard Sampson, that haven't cared probably about K-State at all because they weren't even going to run across them in any way, shape, or form, and they just happened to be on the schedule this year. But I hadn't even thought about the guys that have been on the roster that also haven't played them yet. So I get it from the fan side. You know, if you're worried from, well, we just haven't beat them in forever, weird things happen. It's not like you've been blown out by them too. You've had some things not go your way in close games, clearly. But I don't think we have to worry about that from the staff or the player side, at least going into it with that matchup at all. And to kind of start early here in the week, I actually really like this matchup for you just from an on-paper standpoint, especially with Barron coming back.
Love it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Clint, the last time we went up there, I mean, because we skipped a year, and then they came going back last year, we skipped them. 2 years ago, they came up here and worked us. 3 years ago. So you're going back to the 2022 season.
Mm-hmm. And that's the game that kind of sparked the Avery Johnson lore, and he's never really – he's been good. Rob and I had this conversation. We were filming our Red Raider Recon earlier today. You can check that out tomorrow, youtube.com/DoubleTSportsNetwork. And something we talked about, you know, is just even this year for Avery Johnson, you go back to that game, that's what really, really sparked the expectations. He had a good year last year. He's had a good year this year, but it hasn't been that like high ceiling that has been kind of assigned to him or given to him from either national media or their own fans or whatever, just the Big 12 in general. And I think you have to kind of wash away some of those massive player expectations for him. That again goes back to that game to kind of see, well, he's been a good quarterback. He just hasn't been the as promised quarterback. I think that's a big thing for you this week is do not let him be the as promised quarterback.
Good point. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn played in that game. The thing I remember was him running all over us, and as I glance at this, and this was October of 2022, Donovan Smith versus Adrian Martinez. The mighty Kansas State club ran for 376 yards.
It was like you might as well
Sorry, 343 if you.
That game you might as well not have had a defensive line or linebackers, especially just the design quarterback run when Johnson. And if you remember, that's kind of a chain reaction because I feel like that was the game that they firmly decided, okay, we're going to go with Avery Johnson over Will Howard. And then he would transfer, go to Ohio State. Things worked out for him.
And Clint, you're actually talking about 2023.
Oh, 2023. My bad. I thought that's the game you were talking about. You were talking about.
You're absolutely right about that. I'm going back to our last trip there.
Sorry.
They rushed for 370. But yeah, the point is they commanded the line of scrimmage in all those games, and that's we're a different breed of cat. I'm not saying we're invincible or anything else, but the teams that we're talking about having played against these guys were a different world. Taj and Saradrick were the running backs. We had three guys get carries: Taj, Saradrick, and Donovan Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm on the same page now.
No, that's all right. Adrian Martinez threw for all of 116 yards, 12 for 19.
Yeah.
But it was you don't need to throw for much when you throw for 370. We saw that 2 weeks ago against Kansas. I mean, that's kind of what this stat line looks like.
I look at this Kansas State team, and it's been a really weird year for them because, again, going into like preseason expectations, supposed to be a top 5 team, maybe a team that competes in Arlington, all that sort of stuff. And it was just horrible, horrible, dreadful start. I mean, they're a couple of plays away from also losing to North Dakota into that non-conference. I was watching some stuff this week on their season, and we had that game on in the booth during, let's see, that would have been your Pine Bluff game, I believe. Anyways, we had it up there, and we're just kind of half watching, keeping up with the scores and stuff while you're blowing out your opponent. And one of the plays that I'd forgot is what should have been an interception that winds up as a touchdown, literally goes through two hands of North Dakota defenders and just winds up. I think that was a Deron Tibbs that winds up with the touchdown. Just like a couple different plays, and it could have been somehow even worse for them. But yet you look in the past couple of weeks, and it's like, okay, well, they're clearly different than what they were going back to that non-conference game against Arizona that they lost. And to me, the offense has gotten better. Maybe they've just gotten smarter because really the unit that's gotten vastly better is the defense. And they keep turning people over, and then the offense is just taking advantage of it. And there's not a bad way to live if it's working.
It comes down to, I think, something that we've said about a few of our opponents. If we're not handing them a bunch of short fields and just gift wrapping them some things, if they're having to make a bunch of 10 and 12 play drives, it's hard. We're hard to score against. I'm saying it can't be done. Just saying we're hard to score against.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
That's right. Tomorrow, when Red Raider Recon comes out, if you want to see Rob and I dressed as not even WWF characters, you can check that out on YouTube. Speaking of which, we put out a teaser photo on Twitter, and we got this chat. Hey, Clint, I saw that picture of you and Rob. Is Brandon behind you, dressed as Dink the Clown?
He's hiding behind your cankle.
Not Doink, Dink the Clown.
Dink the Clown.
That's so good.
I don't get it, but it's funny to me.
Well, you're a big Doink the Clown fan, right?
Yeah.
There was like 4 or 5
another of my
iterations.
favorite wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is Wario one of your favorite wrestlers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that dude, man. This is some of the battles he won and the cool costumes. Yeah.
It's not right. It's not. Don't do that. He's gonna walk away thinking that he was actually a wrestler, Brendan.
The best.
Don't do it.
He had a lot of battles against Mario.
Stop it.
Yes. I can't believe he's not going to be in the new Full Metal Jacket video game.
Not
Full Metal
you know
Jacket.
what would
What
be
is
really?
it?
You're looking for. Don't you have Grand Theft Auto written down by now?
I think I do. It's in this notebook
Or
somewhere.
burnt in your
it's in
brain.
the wrong binder. See, I didn't get the other binder.
How did I know
out.
what you were talking about?
It's so bad.
They should hire
The
you.
new games, the new editions coming out. When are you going to invite me over to play?
They should hire you to like do a release party, like at Microsoft or something, and not to like, yeah, just go describe with the game. You're like, yeah, it's Wario and Doink the Clown, and they're in Full Metal Jacket. Something about a golf ball and a garden hose, and
they're all
yeah, enjoy the
wrestlers.
game. Yeah, enjoy the game, everybody.
And a blowtorch.
And everyone that's been waiting forever is like, what? Who's this guy?
I don't know, but it sounds kind of cool.
That's not the storyline we thought it'd be at all. Brennan, please play a play of the day.
Leading off against the lefty Brendan Little. They've played two. The Dodgers want to finish it right here. Coleman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the catch strikes midnight. Freddie Freeman has ended it. It's a repeat hero with the last word on a Game 3 classic. Freddie Freeman, Mr. World Series, ends the marathon at midnight. He is mobbed at home plate as the Dodgers walk it off in the bottom of the 18th inning. 6-5 the final to grab a 2-1 series lead.
No Dutch rub reference on that call, huh? That was just in the call from the 60s. That's close. It started in the same way.
So close.
So close.
Our guy, the winning pitcher, the 72 pitches he threw were the most that he's thrown since he got to professional baseball, because obviously
Crazy.
working. Yeah, the last time he threw more pitches than that, he was pitching at Eastern Illinois University.
Oh.
Again, when you think about people who are like, hey, well, did you think you'd be in this spot in this moment at this point in time as the last guy in the bullpen? Nope. Probably not. Gonna go get him 4 scoreless in one of the great games. How cool is that, man? Like he's up there on the the post-game show deal. You know how that goes now.
Sure.
You're down on the field, like that's the guy's like, man, I was thinking, he's probably thinking if I get in some blowout deal and pitch an inning and do anything to get my name in the box score, it's the rest of my life I pitched in the World Series. Young fella, you did a little more than that.
You're going to pick up the win, man.
Golly. In a 4-inning, by basically being handed the ball and going, hey, get us out of here, dude.
I was laughing at the not like the ESPN, like the quick game recap, but they put out an article just over the game because it was historic, right? And
Yes.
so it's a really good write-up. But when it got to Will Klein, I was cracking up because if I'm remembering right before they actually said his name, they said the red-headed reliever. It's the only person they described in any sort of hair color there.
Yeah.
It just happened to be the redhead there. I was like, oh, that was interesting. But yeah, what a crazy, crazy game. And now at this point, yes, I would still love for it to go 7.
Yep.
But I just, you're not going to top that game.
Mm-mm.
And you might have the next 10 World Series are going to have a hard time topping that as a singular game.
Right.
Anyways.
Yep.
So
cool.
Yeah.
And
shout out to local news that maybe hung around just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
yeah, and even for them on the West Coast, it was 11:30 there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't it end at 1:30 here or 1:18 or something? Yeah, that's with a much improved pace of play.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't some 6 hours and 39 minutes because they didn't have pitch clocks and whatnot. I mean, that's just two teams getting after it and making big time plays to get out of jams and stuff for 9 extra innings. What a deal! And now it feels like that. Those games take on this sort of mythic quality in that you go, man, that could be some premium level devastation to the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, is there an emotional? I was thinking, does either team,
there
whoever
baggage?
loses,
Yeah.
just have an emotional collapse? Because it wouldn't be the first time, right? Like literally poured everything into that game, and not that you would expect them to, but neither team like threw up a white flag and like, all right, you can have this one. We're done. We'll get you on the next one. Speaking of mythical, Shohei Ohtani continues to be a very, very good baseball player. I don't know if you know this, guys. I don't know if you've watched him at all, have heard of him. Shohei Ohtani, just a monster performance.
Yeah, and they what was it? He ended up at 4 for 4 with the 2 homers and a double, and then 5 walks.
times.
Yeah, and then they just said, we're not doing
Fooey
that.
with that.
Yep, and the Toronto skipper post game said you can expect to see more of that. And because
it's like a hack-a-shack. Like, we're going to keep fouling him.
Sure, yeah, and it's an easy
Stop
thing.
asking.
If you got first base open and 2 outs, and you go, yeah, we're going to pitch around him. It's like, we got 2 outs and nobody on. Like, yeah, with the heater he's on right now, because there are points in which if you run from a guy for, just in perpetuity, if you run from that dude, there's going to be a point at which you need to get him out. And nobody has the confidence to have gone after him and gotten him out. And Barry
at a certain
Bonds,
point, you've worked your way into down every single arm that's either been on the mound or watched. Like, oh yeah, we're not supposed to throw this guy because it's not going to go well.
right? And Barry Bonds had that quality that he was hitting, just so dangerous. I just put him on. Just gotta get out of here. We gotta live to see the dude behind him. And the thing about the dudes behind, right now you're picking your poison. But the thing about the dudes behind Ohtani, you go, yeah, it's Betts and Freeman. And it's not like he's the end of the deal and it's a bunch of punchy singles hitters behind him. But still, at some point, they're saying, hey, we can't keep doing this. Can't keep letting that guy beat us.
Right.
But then you also hope somewhere down the line you don't have the game hanging in the balance and
here comes Ohtani.
you're handing the ball to it's like, hey, go get him, go face him with a lot of courage. And like what, like you did when you walked him the last 5 at bats, But I get it. Ohtani's earned all of it. It's an amazing. What he's doing is historic, man.
More Tech Talk next.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. I'm Clint Scott. He's Dr. Mike Gustafson, but you can call him Al. Brennan Riker behind the glass taking care of us. The high school fan zone tonight, 100.7 the score. Monterey at 6, Coronado at 6:30. Bobby Hot Dogs had this on the chat line. He said Purple Rain was the cover. Was that right? Was that correct for the Spin Doctors, or was he just throwing that out?
Thank you. Yes.
What a great cover.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. I blanked on that 100%. Yeah. And again, you walk away from that going, man, the cover's the one that pops. And the cool thing was, Clint, is it started. Remember how it was kind of spitting, sprinkling? That was during Purple Rain.
It was just like the Super Bowl again.
100%. In fact, my buddy that was standing there with me, he's like, this is like the Super Bowl. I said, yeah, it's not quite as majestic, but it was pretty dang cool.
No, more majestic.
And the lead singer saw it. He could see it. And it wasn't even the kind of the rain that sent you running to the, sent you running. It was just like a few drops falling. So it was not uncomfortable at all. But
so he probably really leaned into it.
He's even pointing like, and again, if they'd have started the song after it started raining, I go, well, they were waiting for that moment. But no, it was just perfect timing. It was a good show. It was fun. They did it right on point. Played their hits, one or two songs that probably hadn't heard of. Covered a couple things, and you're in and out in 50 minutes, maybe an hour tops. It's a good show. Yeah. Guess we'll get by. I'll be interested to see what they pull for the. Of course, the BYU game, man. There will be a concert, but it's not going to be much of
like a rooster or something.
Well, that's just such a tough deal there.
Yeah.
because
You know what? I think that when you put in the impact of hopefully what that game will mean, and it's going to be a big game regardless of what happens this weekend. Although I really like you this Saturday. I think anyone worried about like the juice of the crowd or anything like that, it's going to be just fine.
I think we had the pregame show before Colorado, but that ended at 11, and then we had an afternoon for a concert, and then the game later. If we have one of the pregame shows on campus, I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel or reduce it down to just somebody, kind of playing the guitar if you want to go hear music, because they would probably be going, hey, everybody get to the I don't know, that'd be interesting.
We found this guy just walking around. His name's Trash Can Joe. We have no idea what he's doing, but if you want to go listen to him. I almost wonder
game
that
day or something over there. I assume that would be at the Coliseum, just as the big noon kickoff was last year. I would think if either one of those is there, you just don't have time for that and a concert. And do you want to pull people away? That'll be an interesting. What a wonderful problem to have.
I kind of think it would go the other way. Like you lean into it, like you make it as big of a deal everywhere on campus that you can possibly do.
Once you got juice over here, you get a pregame show over there. You probably hit the pregame show with maybe an older band. I mean, you probably don't want to pull a bunch of students away from game day is what I'm getting at, or big noon kickoff. Again, hypothetical. We don't know. We'll know by Monday when we roll in here, right?
Well, let's get to this weekend. We have this on the chat line. I have no confidence in our offense this weekend. So I said,
okay,
I want this game.
So we're going to win 3-0.
I want this game with Baron Morton to play out from the approach. I mean, maybe you could say execution a little bit better, but I want this to be a similar output from one game that you've already played against an opponent right now that only has one loss. So if you remember, after the Utah game, right, clearly Barron doesn't finish all of that game. There's a question, all right, does he press too much with the offense against Houston? Does he go down to Houston and does maybe he, try to go Superman when he doesn't need to? And he doesn't. And obviously it wasn't perfect in the red zone, but still I thought Baron Morton did everything that you wanted from him. In the end, by the way, against a pretty good Houston defense right now.
Houston defense you might see again if everything plays out the way you want it to.
If you're
that Houston club's got a nifty little path.
Yeah. But if you're able to do that performance again in Kansas State, my confidence in your defense, you're going to win that game by probably more than 10 points. Now, that's a tall task because you're trying to fix some things past just Baron Morton coming back into the lineup. I get it. But if you can also get your offensive line to just to take one more step forward, because it felt like they took 2 steps back the past couple of weeks, and I don't know if getting Morton back just fixes those woes, but I do think it helps out your vertical passing game. And I think it does help with maybe some of the patience of setting up your deep shots that have been missing over the past couple of weeks. And I do think that can be open against Kansas State. It's more of can you run against them? Can you move the ball on the ground at all? But if you can have a similar output that you did against Houston and that Baron Morton and that Texas Tech offense, you're the better team. You'll be fine.
So much of I think Baron had done a pretty good job this year of just exhibiting patience with a number of these defenses have just done the whole let's drop into deep coverage and keep everything in front of us, right? Playing some bend but don't break, and so that does require some patience, because if you're trying to rip a bunch of deep balls into that kind of stuff, you're not going to get results. You're going to play behind the chains, et cetera. And Barron had done a really good job. The exception of that was probably Utah, which Utah has that identity. We're playing man, we're playing defense. You're coming to our place, and I'll be curious to see how K-State plays this. What their thinking is if Barron's going to throw a bunch of stuff underneath and hit a bunch of plays, if they're really intent on, hey, no, they're not, Texas Tech can't hit a bunch of deep balls. You know, they can't come in here with a bunch of shock plays. Because we've had that, like our narrative around here early this year, a lot of text questions and things like, where's all the deep balls? Like, that's one of the things that some of these defenses are saying. We're just, you know, they're dropping into some cover 3 thing, and so you're going to keep it in front. You thought to throw a bunch of deep balls into this mess, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be throwing into double coverage and that kind of stuff. And so Barron exhibited good patience and just matriculated the offense down the field.
And
thank you, Hank Stram.
That's why I want to see that in Manhattan like we saw in Houston, because what Kansas State wants you to do is trick yourself into whatever you think you're seeing or force things when they're not there. I got to go get a big play. And then they prey on your mistakes. And so if you just go play clean, even just mostly clean and mostly efficient football,
doesn't have to be
spectacular. You don't have to go, and you don't have to go drop 50 on them. Like, you don't have to get all of the points you've missed, you know, maybe missed opportunities in the past couple of weeks back in one game. You just can't go up there and give Kansas State the ball.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Maybe Wells will kick on 3rd down. More Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. That was fun.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. Thank you for joining us. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Brennan Riker. Behind the glass, taking care of us. All right, we'll see you later. This has been Tech Talk on Double T. Brennan was ready to get out of here. This on the Yates Flooring Center.
Hey, more Tech Talk in a moment. Clint's going to quit talking.
This on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Yamamoto pitched 105 pitches in a complete game on the 25th. A lot of people would be fired if he even threw a 25-pitch bullpen. Think you are misinformed. Never was an option regardless of his need later in the series and contract. That's not like you just making that up. It's several people that reported that. And then Roberts himself said, hey, because he was warming up in the bullpen, by the way. He came in and he said, I'll pitch the 19th inning. And then they said if it wasn't, for some reason, if he wasn't able to go, if it had gotten there after doing his bullpen, then they would have went to Rojas and would have went to a position pitcher there. So, I mean, that's not like you making that up. That was going to happen.
I appreciate you keeping me in check there, but you couldn't be more wrong. Yeah, the exact quote from Roberts was, if Yamamoto couldn't have taken ball in the 19th, it would have been Miguel Rojas.
Yeah.
It would have been Yamamoto or Miguel Rojas in a World Series game. Roberts said. Yeah, that's. I mean, that was happening. It's not my opinion.
Which would have been
anything else.
But to the text point, that would have been crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the ultimate.
The beauty of
I am sacrificing anything because everyone else is sacrificing too in this game.
Yep.
The worst.
He probably wasn't going to go 100 pitches.
Yeah.
But he was. Sometimes those guys after a day of rest, like on their second day, might have had a pen day or something scheduled in a way they go like, I can go give you one inning. Mm-hmm. I can go give you. I was going to throw a 30-pitch pen. I'll throw 30 pitches on the mound, or something to that effect. But I mean, it's just that point in the season. You're probably not doing that in game 62 of the season. Right? Only got 100 more.
Yeah, you're only saving that for a World Series or even maybe an elimination game in the playoffs.
Yep.
The worst thing for the Big 12 would be for Houston to get into the Big 12 championship game. Simply would project the weakness of scheduling and of the conference. Yeah, I do think, because you're trying to fight, obviously, your image issue with the Big 12, even though it is not as – there's a gap, but it's not as big of a gap as what ESPN certainly would like you to think when it comes to the SEC and the Big 10. However, I do agree. And you know what's funny? The same guys, let's say if Houston made the championship game, if they were 11-1, and they got the tiebreakers or whatever to fall their way, if they were in there, the same talking heads and guys that would tell you Willie Fritz is a great football coach, There's a reason why he's had so much success in his career. There's a reason why he was building up a contender from the group of 5 standpoint with Tulane. The same people that would tell you that would say exactly what the texter just said. It's like, yeah, but it's Houston, so the Big 12 must be down this year.
Right.
Instead of saying, well, he's been there 2 years and he's done exactly what he's done everywhere.
Think about how many candidates there are. I mean, think about what sort of happened in this league across the sport of football, and like the legacy Big 12 teams aren't the ones that have really been carrying the ball, Texas Tech included. Like, we need to get to Arlington for a million reasons, but I mean, we're running there's a tremendous likelihood of BYU, Utah, Houston, Cincinnati. Like, stop me when I say a legacy Big 12, Kansas, Kansas State, Texas Tech, Iowa State, K-State, where are you, right?
Yeah. Speaking of which, did
probably even throw Colorado in there if you want to. I'm just saying, like, the ones that we think of as, those are the long-standing Big 12 brands, right? The only one that's in the hunt is us.
Speaking of which, did you see the Big 12 is kind of circling this as their 30-year anniversary game because Texas Tech and Kansas State. Do you remember the first Big 12 game?
Yeah.
That's right. Texas Tech and Kansas State.
Yep.
So put out kind of this old school logo, and kind of people were wondering why they'd put out the retro Big 12 logo, because they didn't really say anything at first. They just kind of dropped the picture, and now it's taking a trip down memory lane to celebrate 30 seasons of Big 12 football.
Yep, that's right. And that happened on opening weekend in 1996. And it was Texas Tech at K-State.
Yeah, but for the conference, as far as like, I don't know, what would be the most respected matchup, I think it would absolutely be if it was you and BYU that ended up there, because I think even Cincinnati would get a little bit of a scoff there, but they've done nothing to deserve the scoff, just like Houston's done nothing to deserve a scoff this season. They just keep winning games. Now, Houston could go 2-2 over the next 2 games and take that conversation completely out anyways and not have to look at tiebreakers, right? That's not out of the realm of possibility. But they could also go 4-0 with who they have left, because, I mean, it's West Virginia this week. I think they're going to pound them at home. At UCF, they should win that game. And then you have a matchup with TCU and Baylor. And who knows what either of those teams are going to look like by the time you get to those weeks. Baylor might not have Dave Aranda by the time they see them.
Very true. Boy, what a time to throw your hat in this coaching search ring.
I know. It's like, what's better for you, to wait a year or to also look around and say, man, if we miss our window this year, because they're not competing with LSU and Florida and Penn State, but they are competing. I think Arkansas is a little bit closer. Oklahoma State, UCLA.
I mean, the amount of money sunk in all of these coach buyouts kind of creates a counter narrative to the Score Act, and what Cody's out there doing, and everybody like, we got to get this NIL, we got to get this paying all these players and the portal and all that stuff under control. Like, I bet you get some of the coach contracts under control.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Ask Tech Talk is brought to you by Visual Edge IT. Give us your questions on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thank you for joining us for a Tuesday edition. Clint, Gus, and Brennan. We got this from T-Bone. Clint goes down as a great buffet duster. It's true.
Spread killer.
You
get that spread in the locker room.
Me against the spread, I'm going to win every single time. Yeah.
Somebody's in there getting ice on their arm. They come out. What happened to all the food? Clint just torched the spread, man.
I'm not going to answer my own question because everyone knows the answer, but are you, like, in general, a buffet guy?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hitting
I
at
mean,
the
when I
old
was your
corral or
age-
anything?
When I was your age, I was just destroying that kind of stuff. And then there for a while, I looked like you, and then I cleaned it up.
How dare you, Brennan? You have a problem with old GC?
No problem at all.
You just gave a face. You gave a face. Your face. It's all wrong.
Well, I kind of like my feet, so.
Oh wow.
Is that like gout? Was it a gout reference, or what? Did you see in your feet? What are we talking about?
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with the gout, just the diabetes part.
Oh, got it. The I thought you meant like you like your quick, nimble feet. Like when scouts look at you, they go, "Man, he's got good feet. That kid's got a motor."
Yeah, when
See his
scouts
feet?
looked at me on the football field, they thought, "Yeah, quick, nimble feet. That one right there, he's going to be a star." I'll tell you what.
Why don't you clip that, and we'll use that for you. You'll use that for you, or I'll put it on my computer and I'll use that.
Yeah, when we get
But
the
I like
little,
that. That was a good Brennan clip right there. Good feet. You got Clint, great collegiate hitter. We got you, good feet.
Were you long skid?
I don't know. Yeah, that's your story, not mine.
Wait till Kansas City plays Denver. He won't be doing any of that. Ooh, little trash talk. I am excited and interested in this next run for the Chiefs because they're at Buffalo and then at Denver. And I think there's a bye week in between the Bills and the Broncos game, but still at the Bills, at the Broncos, and then home against the Colts. And that game suddenly has a lot more weight on it than I thought it would at the start of the season. I think just about everybody thought it would. And the Broncos are interesting because they're young, they're very talented. They're 6-2 right now. They're coming off a beatdown of the Cowboys, but they're also before that a game where they were letting the Giants kind of get away from them in that game, and they 33 points in the fourth quarter, come back and win it, so you have to give them credit. But they also struggled against the Jets, and I don't know. I feel like we haven't seen a consistent version of the Broncos yet, which I'm saying is scary because if they get consistent, that defense is really good, and I think Bo Nix is a future star in the NFL, and he's climbing that ladder awfully quick in his young career.
Yep, I agree. Him and Drake May are doing really good things as pretty young quarterbacks. It feels like they, again, I'm not carving out their bust and getting the molds made yet for Canton, but those two by what, year 2 for both of them? 2 and yes, both second-year guys.
Yes.
And
yes,
it feels like by you get on into the second year in a way that you go, I think that guy's going to be all right, versus some of the other ones. Now, at the same time, there's a couple of quarterback whisperer coaches that are able to take some scraps and go do great things with them, right?
Well, that's the other thing. Like I think Sean Payton. I mean, obviously he's an established coach,
right?
And I think for second year. I couldn't remember. For some reason I was like, is that a third year for Nix? But yeah, I agree with you. Ask Tech Talk, are there any Tech players flying under the radar that may have a breakout game this Saturday? Defensively, I feel like we know who you are, and I think in some ways we know that offensively too, but it's like you almost need like a re-breakout game, right, for some of these guys. And I don't think flying under the radar, but I think one of your receivers is going to have a good to really, really good day at least, whether it's Reggie Virgil or Caleb Douglas. The receivers are going to have to get back on track. And to be honest, I don't think it's been anything that they've done over the past couple of weeks. I think the offense has been so clunky that they've almost been taken out because you couldn't set anything up, or even when you did, I don't think it was read correctly. And so I think getting Morton back helps too, because Mitch Griffiths, when he came in, I think he ran the offense, and you called an offense that's closer to what you did with Morton than what you did with Hammond, and he started pushing the ball downfield, and all of a sudden Caleb Douglas started looking a whole lot better, right?
Is it maybe John Carlos Miller? I mean, is there a play being made from him?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Maybe this is the weekend because K-State will utilize their tight ends. Maybe this is a John Curry interception weekend. How about that?
Yeah. I do think so. I really like Jace Brown. He is a very talented receiver. And so if you're able to, on the interception standpoint, Avery Johnson has taken care of the ball. He's only got 2. He's used his feet to keep his eyes downfield, and that's where they pop a big play or 2 every single game. And so can you get maybe another Bryce Pollock interception? Do you get him his 4th? Do you get kind of the Brendan Jordan redemption game maybe after, a not-so-stellar outing against Arizona State where you were saying a lot of similar things, like who their targets are.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not 1-for-1, obviously, comparing those 2 offenses, but I don't know. I think someone in the secondary might be my pick to kind of have a big tide-shifting play.
I like it.
Yeah.
That maybe he gets sped up through some effective pass rush and
because it's that conversation's obviously going to start with your front looking like they have all season long.
Mm-hmm. Getting after the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Maybe controlling some run game enough that they have to play a little more one-dimensional than maybe they would like to.
Houston and Cincinnati would remind you of the old Conference USA and American Athletic Conference days. I think this version of the Big 12 is about half a step up from that. Well, I mean, we'll disagree. Have to disagree on that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have the second best non-conference winning percentage against other Power 4 schools.
I mean, if you feel that way about the Big 12, how do you feel about the ACC?
I also think you're littered with draftable guys, so
I'm sending that to the text.
Right. No. I know. I'm saying as far as the Big 12 has an image problem, and for that to be fixed, I understand somebody is going to have to. Someone's going to have to turn into a legitimate playoff threat, and I think if you were somehow, and it's going to be a tall task, if you were somehow able to get 2 teams in, you'd need both to have at least a good showing.
Makes sense.
I think the worst thing to happen to the Big 12 is if you got 2 in and both schools just got waxed in the playoff.
Yeah.
I mean, and it would be hard to defend, right?
Yep.
Now here's the good news. Like parity, we'll find out, right? Because parity is all over college football right now. The margins of wins are thinner than they've been in a very, very long time everywhere in college football. So I think we're in for a very interesting playoff this year. That'll do it for us. Thanks for hanging out. It's been Tech Talk on Double T 97.3. Back tomorrow.
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.